All right, today is for loop day. So when we are looking at for loops, I can explain how loops work and why they are useful. I can write a for loop to iterate a specific number of times, and I can modify the loop's variables to create different looping behaviors. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So with that, for loop, it's a repeated step you want to do, and we can do it in two ways. We could count up or count down. It's up to you how you build your loop. Sometimes it's beneficial to run it one way versus another. So we're just going to take a look at some different ones. So what we're going to start with is an increasing for loop. Okay. So what we're going to do is let's create a for loop. So we are going to do for, and then we want to initialize our counter is what we want to think about it as. So we want an integer I starting at 0, and we are going to go I and make it less than 7. And then when you separate these, we need to separate them with semicolons. And then we're going to go up by 1 every time. So we're going to go, so we start at 0, and then I is going to be less than 7. So as long as I is less than 7, we are going to follow whatever code is in here. Okay? And we're going to do a simple one. And we're just going to print out I. So what's going to happen is we're going to initialize this at 0. So hopefully we should get a 0, then a 1, because after we go through the code, our counter is going to add 1. That's what the plus plus means. That's our interim by 1 number. Okay? So then once we go through the 1 and run our code, then we're going to add another 1 to it. So now it's going to become 2. And then we run our code. And then we're going to do another 1 and move up to 3. 3 is still less than 7, so we're going to run through our code. And we're going to continue that until this operation, this thing right here in the middle, doesn't work anymore. And be careful, this one in particular can cause infinite loops, meaning it will go on forever and ever and ever. Or it may never start at all. If I were to do I is greater than 7, is 0 ever going to be greater than 7? I mean, it doesn't for the first 6 numbers. What happens after we get to 7? We might create an infinite loop there. So what we're going to do is I is less than 7, so hopefully we build up 0 through 6, and that gets printed out on our screen. So, boom, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and once we get to the next one, 7 is not less than 7. If we wanted to put less than or equal to, then we should get our 7 out. We could do that, and our code is successful. But it's going to stop there because we don't have any more iterations. Okay? So, when counting up, that's how we want to go through it. So let's try the other one. Let's try and count down. So let's do, instead, we're going to do an I minus minus. And why don't, that's going to create an infinite loop, because if I starts at 0 and then I is less than 7, which is true, then we're going to print out 0, then -1, -2, -3, and it's going to go on forever. So this would create an infinite loop. I do not want to run it just because I don't want to create that, but if you do run it, you can see. Okay? So clear that out. That becomes an infinite loop. All right, so then let's do something then. So first thing I want to do, import java.util.scanner. are going to create a scanner object. So create a scanner object. So we're going to do, scanner equals new scanner system.in. Okay. Then we want to do system.out.print, and we're going to say, please enter a number 10 through 20. And then semicolon. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say int I is scanner.nextInt. And as long as I is greater than 0, we are going to start printing. So hopefully what this is going to do is we're going to start with whatever number we put in our scanner, and then it's going to continue to count down until we get to 0. Now it's not going to print 0, but it will print all the numbers leading up to 0. And if we wanted to include 0, then put greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so when we run this, I'm just going to put a line in between them. We're going to run this, and it's going to ask us for, please enter a number between, well, that works. You should understand that. So let's put 11. And then hit enter, and that will start our sequence to go 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. There you go. And run through your code. Okay? Now sometimes, well, why is this useful? You're going to want to do things a certain number of times. Think about different games that have a special ability. You're counting up, or you're getting XP up until that level, and then once that level hits, then I've got an ult, and then once I run the ult, it goes back down to 0 and starts counting up again. So think about it in terms of that. It's going to just continue to do those types of things. So what else can we do that would be kind of creative with this? Let's take a look. Let's do please enter a word. And what we are going to do, we want to create a string word equals scanner.next. So we're going to create a variable for the word that is entered. Then we're going to create a for loop. Okay. Now let's do a system.out.println, and we are going to put our word here so that we see what the word is going to be. Forgot my semicolon there. So first off, we are going to create a scanner. It says please enter a word. We're going to change that whatever was entered into the variable word. And then we're going to print out our word. Then we're going to create a loop. And for our loop is going to start at 0. So we're going to start at 0. We are going to make I greater than word dot length. So as long as I is less than the word length, we're going to run through our sequence, excuse me. And when we do this, we're going to print I, and then we are going to do a print ln. So after we print our I value, we want to print the word dot char at I. And what that's going to do is, let's run our code and see. Please enter a word. Let's do drive. Drive. 0 is D, 1 is R, 2 is I, 3 is V, 4 is E. Ooh, look at that. You are literally starting to establish a number for each character in your word. Oh. So that could be very useful for different types of things. So these are our for loops. So we can increase through a loop, we can decrease through a loop, we can break up a word by chars, which we did. So now here's some different challenges for you to think about. A multiplication table generator. Write a program that asks a user for a number and then prints the multiplication table up to that number. So you definitely need I, and then you want to start thinking about how you're going to do that. Write a Java program that calculates and prints the sum of all even numbers between 1 and 50 using a for loop. And then reverse string printing. So once again, we did drive and we established each letter. Now can you flip that where it goes EVIRD? Something to think about. All right, well, good luck. Look at these homework solutions for help, but these are your challenges.